ready to eat. I like it rough. Don't touch my hot pot. Bubbles. Show me what you got. Son of a gun, folks. It's about that time again for a brand new episode of Hot Pot Poddie Podcast. I'm Jenn Tatro, and this is
Brooke.
Holman, your hosts. Folks, we are going straight for the jugular with a powerhouse of a guest today. We bring to you a front woman from the band Wicked Vixen, a full band built around high-impact performances and emotionally driven rock. She got her start out in Nashville as a paid musician for film projects and spent time recording in studios on Music Row and the greater Nashville area. She developed a deep understanding of both the creative and technical sides of music and honed her skills with the violin, viola, and her vocal training. She brings together years of experience across live performance, studio work, and cross-genre collaboration. Her approach is direct and intentional, grounded in strong musicianship, shaped by the industry that raised her, and driven by a clear artistic vision. Please welcome to the show, the amazing Z. Woo!
Thank you so much.
Yeah! Let's go!
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on the show. We were just talking about our outfits, and we love your jacket, and you were saying that you sew some of those patches on, and you iron some of them on. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so my jacket actually came from a photo shoot that we did for a song we released years ago under a different name before we were Wicked Vixen. And I put one of the lyrics on the back of the jacket, "You Drive Me Wild," and then I was like, I can't get rid of it. It's a commemorative piece at this point. So I just started gathering all the patches that I had collected over the years and ended up just kind of slapping them on there. Some are gifted, some are just random that I found, and some are bands that I really, really love. But a little combination of ironing them on and then sewing them on so that they don't rip off, if I'm playing a show with it on or something.
Yeah. We love it. Love your attire.
I really dig the NASA one. I just noticed it. Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a space nerd, so.
Oh,
yeah.
no!
Tell me more.
Did you say the right thing? We're about to nerd out. Brooke loves all things NASA.
Hell yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so I go through these phases of hyperfixations, and when I was in my early 20s, I think I became so obsessed with space. I ended up watching docuseries every day for probably a month on just planets and stars and dark matter and how the universe is expanding and contracting and all this stuff. And I couldn't honestly tell you most of what was in there at this time, but I was so inspired by it. I was like, I'm going to write a full album around all the planets and everything. And
it's incredible.
It never happened, but I'm endlessly fascinated with it.
There's still time.
Yeah,
Never too late.
I mean, this is true. This is true, baby. This is the re-inspiration that I need for that.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm endlessly fascinated with things like space and death that are both terrifying and also very intriguing because I don't know a whole lot about it,
Yes.
So I'm kind of pulled in by the unknown of all of that.
Agreed. 1,000% agreed. And Brooke loves NASA. And I'm intrigued by death as well. I'm not necessarily scared of death, and I shared this with Brooke once. I'm scared of the thought of eternity. I don't know. That's a really scary feeling for me, or thought. I don't know why. It's really scary.
This is impossible to conceptualize, I think. Just, I don't know, nothingness or just everythingness, I guess.
Yes.
Infinity, eternity. I guess that's kind of similar.
They're like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And they're both terrifying.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's shift gears here for a second. So Brooke and I played a show at Pocom X, and we had wrapped up our set, and we went to a different bar, and we saw your band, Wicked Vixen, playing, and we were in awe. We were in the crowd. I was just so awestruck by you. Your voice is beautiful and powerful, and your violin playing is like otherworldly. Like I was just like, what am I witnessing right now? So I just wanted to say you rip on the violin and you have a great stage presence, and I feel like you're a triple threat.
Well, thank you.
You've got it going on. So do you remember playing that show? This was probably like 4 years ago at that surf bar.
Yeah, Surfside.
Yes.
Surfside 7.
Yes.
Yeah. I think every year, except for this one, we've played Surfside 7, and we love it so much. We've always had a packed room, which is just incredible. We love that the community has come out, and, we have so much demand to see us. I can't remember if that was our first year playing it or second year playing it, but those are definitely standout moments for me. Yeah. And it's interesting that's the one that you saw that was also kind of a standout moment for you, because I think back on that and I'm like, wow, how far we've come in that amount of time. Yeah, I don't know. Like this past FOCO MX was really, I think, a special moment for me with our new drummer. And I had moved to Nashville, but also was kind of moving back. There's a lot of things happening. And so I think that I had a lot of growth, and I was really stepping into that power at the time. But it's equally as fun for me to hear that even back then, when I was maybe less confident in what I was doing, that it translated well for the audience, for you.
Oh, yeah. I was blown away. I was like, I don't know how we happened upon this show, but we did, and I was super thankful for it. I mean, I also wanted to know, and you just answered it in a way, and my follow-up question was, has it taken years to get you to this place, or were you always just kind of like getting after it?
No, it's definitely been a process. It's been a pretty long road. I don't know. That's a multifaceted question. Yeah. So growing up, I was a very shy individual, and I was never super comfortable being on stage without like a whole bunch of nerves. And it's taken me a long time to realize that confidence is half the battle, for one. To having confidence in your artistry, like your skills and the ability to just show up in that way is part of the thing I think that makes a dynamic performance. Like even if you're not feeling your best, the audience doesn't know that. And so it's really important to just show up with that confidence and be sort of the thermometer in the room and bring that energy regardless, because if you don't, they're definitely going to feel it. And then the third part of that is it's taken a long time for me to build skill on skill on skill. And so I started taking violin lessons when I was about 4, if we want to go like all the way back. And then about, I think when I was like 12 or 13, I started taking voice lessons. And I was homeschooled when I was growing up, so I had a lot of extra time to kind of like experiment with a lot of my downtime, and a lot of that experimentation happened with instruments. And so at some point I started singing, and I started playing guitar, and I started writing, and wanted to be like the people that I was listening to. And it's taken me probably from about the time I was 13 until, I would say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, to fully unlock the full range of what I believe that I'm capable of. Which is just incredible, because I think that, people in general, they don't really have the ceiling and the limitations that I think they put on themselves. So it's definitely been a journey. It's been a long time coming, and it's, I think that there's even more that I have to discover about my skills that I've been building. But yeah, it's been a long road to get here, but it's been very rewarding as well.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that process. I love that.
I just had a quick question. I guess you said that you have a lot of nerves, or when you first started. Do you have any tips or tricks or special things that you do to be able to have that confidence when you get on stage and not feel quite as nervous that you were talking about?
Yeah, so I think it's a couple things. First and foremost, practice, repetition. So many people come up to me and say, like, I couldn't do what you do, like that I couldn't even imagine getting up on stage and doing that. I think just having the courage to try and the courage to want to do it is enough to build that foundation. And for some people, they can't help but not do it. And I think I was one of those people that when I got the bug, I was like, oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. And so I kind of just suffered through all of my uncomfortable feelings for a while. And then I started realizing that once I got on stage, after about maybe the first song or two, everything kind of opened up for me. So a lot of that struggle is really just starting, right? Like almost with anything in life, it's just starting the project, starting maybe the new job, or just walking up to somebody and saying like, introducing yourself because you need a new friend, right? It's that moment between where you're not doing it and then where you've already done it that matters. So that's kind of my first piece of advice, I would say, is just have enough courage to start, and then I think the rest will figure itself out as you work through that process. The second one is that I actually got this piece of advice, well, two pieces of advice. The first one was from a fellow colleague of mine, somebody who was a mentor of mine for a long time, David Wallace, who plays viola, and he was an instructor at a music camp that I went to, and is also head of strings at Berkeley. And he had us do this practice where because he also related to that. He was very nervous, kind of a shy person, and didn't really want to be, out there. But he was always just so magnetic when he got on stage. And so he taught us this practice. You would think of yourself, your energy bigger than the space that you're in, bigger than the room. And you would like breathe with it. And you picture yourself bigger than the building that you're in. And you picture yourself bigger than the area of that city. And then you picture yourself bigger than the city itself, bigger than the state, bigger than and you just keep going until you feel like your energy is so expansive that you have no choice but to feel powerful.
Like the universe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go all the way out to space.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blast off.
Yeah. So that was the first piece of advice that I got. The second one was from a connection that I made in Nashville. And when I first heard it, I was like, well, that sounds a little like off. That sounds fake and inauthentic. Like, I don't want to do that. But he told me that one of the best things that artists can do is learn how to improvise or act and go to acting classes. It's like, well, I never want to be fake in front of my audience. But the thing is that if you don't feel like if you don't feel confident showing up, what you can do is practice acting like the person who is confident. Practice acting like the person who wants to make those connections, who is electric when they walk into a room. So it's less about not being yourself and more about putting that version of yourself out there that you really want to connect with the audience.
Like your staged persona, in a way, right? Like your character.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've heard some other people, as that's sort of a tactic sometimes that they use too. It's like they have a specific personality they have when they're on stage. It's kind of like they're stepping into, I'm not Brooke anymore. I'm Brooke Star, I don't know, whatever name you want to make it.
Yeah.
You're Brooklyn badass.
Brookling.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and so like it allows you to have just enough distance from that part of you that's really nervous to kind of protect that part of you a little bit, but also say like, I can put this on the back burner for now, and I can choose to not be nervous, and I can step forward with this persona instead. And I think that's how you start to distance yourself a little bit from all of the nerves.
Hannah Montana, just thought of that. There it is. Perfect example.
Nice. Well, thanks for sharing that. I love those. Let's put those in our pockets, and everybody listening out there, learn from these experiences.
And you mentioned Nashville quite a bit. I was wondering, how'd your time in Nashville shape you as an artist beyond just the technical side?
Well, that's also kind of a little bit of an interesting question for me. So I grew up in Nashville, and then I moved out here about 7 or 8 years. I guess it's 8 years now, 8 years ago. And I recently moved back and then moved back here. So I've kind of been in and out.
Zip, zip.
Yeah. I was trying to give it another shot, just to see how, with all the growth that I experienced in Colorado, how that would translate to Nashville. I think Nashville has helped shape me in terms of determining what it is that I don't want out of the industry, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So a lot of people think, you'll go into something and you're like, oh, and then I realized I did want this thing. And then the more time I spent in it, I didn't know that I wanted this part of it or this aspect. But I think in deciding, I was able to cut away a lot of those things that I didn't want. And some of the things that Nashville kind of showed me is maybe the way that I want to be an artist, right? Like my approach to it and how everybody thinks that you should do it, or or that they assume that you would want to do it, go on The Voice or try to do American Idol or try to like audition for these things and try to go on tour with somebody else, right? So I had a lot of expectations put on me, or not really expectations, but I guess I would say assumptions or maybe people just thinking like, because that is their assumption of the industry, that they think that's what's best for me. And I really had to take a step back from that and think, what do I want for me, which is part of why I moved back here. And going back, I realized that I still don't think that Nashville's the place for me, as much as I have, I guess, a deep love for it, deep down, because it's the place that raised me.
Yes.
But it helped me really get crystal clear on what it is that I want and recognizing when I'm listening to somebody else and what they perceive is the right direction, path forward for my life, and then what is actually the right path forward for me, especially when it comes to my artistic expression.
Okay, dang. Yeah, like what all influences, I guess, are shaping your own perspective as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. I'm going to ask you a question about LunaFest.
Yeah.
Let's give it up.
You think the one you're looking for is...
Thank you, Brooke. Give it up, dude.
Yeah,
I was like, where's that air horn at? There's so many buttons here. We got rat noises.
Itching to push it the whole time.
Where'd that air horn go? So yeah, tell me about your two setups. You've got Wicked Vixen playing and you've got Sugar Britches that you're in a band with.
Yeah, so this will be a little bit like a Hannah Montana moment, call back to that. And fun fact, I was actually in her movie, the Hannah Montana movie.
Really?
Wait,
hold up.
Yeah.
Why didn't you mention that earlier?
Record scratch. Where's that one at?
I don't know if we have one, but...
Yeah, we do.
Oh. No, please tell us more. What?
Yeah, so if you watch the climb at the very end where she starts singing that song, there's a little group of like high schoolers that play the string section behind her, and I'm one of those.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to give us more details after this because I'm going to go look that up.
I'm going to be very honest, I haven't seen it, but now if I do watch it, I'm going to look out for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we can get back to that. But yeah, on LunaFest, so Wicked Vixen's playing on the same day that Sugar Britches is playing. And so it will be that Hannah Montana moment where I'm, in Wicked Vixen get up and then I'm moving to the country get up or vice versa. And so I'll have, the electric violin with me for Wicked Vixen, and I'll have my guys, which actually my drummer is also the drummer for Sugar Britches.
I noticed that because I was like, whoa, it's this guy's birthday.
Yeah.
Now it's this guy's birthday. This must be the same drummer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, same guy. So yeah, it's kind of fun that we get to kind of like share members like that, and it just works out, that we're both going to be there at the same time. And then I'm switching over to Sugar Britches, which I'll have my acoustic violin for, or maybe I'll keep the electric. I don't know. Sometimes we bring out the electric every once in a while.
Spice it up.
Yeah, a little country on a 7-string.
Where did the name Sugar Britches come from? I have to ask. I love it.
I have no idea. That is Brian's brainchild, so you'd have to ask
Brian's brain britches. I don't know.
Your lyrics, okay, so Wicked Vixen is amazing and like in a category of its own, but then this band Sugar Britches, I've listened to some of the lyrics and I'm just laughing. I'm like, this is hilarious. So is he writing all this stuff?
It's primarily, it's all him. And then we've done a couple writing sessions together.
Okay.
Recently. So we spent a little bit of time, I believe it was last year, up in Red Feather, writing some new content for a new album. So there's a little bit more collaboration in that. But he's just he's a never-ending supply of hilarious and also real, down-to-earth, like very human lyrics. And it's the same kind of storytelling that I think John Prine brings to his music, which we just did that tribute show. But it's always a good time. I call it Silly Goose Honky Tonk.
Silly Goose Honky Tonk. I love it.
That's the genre. And yeah, but then if you listen a little bit closer to the lyrics, you're like, oh man, like this is fun and everything. Then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, this is kind of like not what I expected out of country, or at least not what I expected, right? That's not the kind of music that I grew up with, but I absolutely love it. Like I just have such a fun time. And seeing new audience members too also realize that about the lyrics is equally as fun for me after all this time playing with them.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I love the lyrics. And then, so you just came up a show. You were at Washington's in Fort Collins, and it was a sold-out show, I saw. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Well, thank
Let
you.
me find this applause. There's the button I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah.
I'm just curious, do you have any type of like pre-show ritual before you play?
Not really. I used to like try and create something that would like help with my nerves. And I think, again, in the repetition of doing this so much, unless it's like a really big show, unless we're playing on like a really big stage, something that we haven't done before, and that goes for Wicked Vixen or Sugar Bridges. I don't really have that kind of ritual, but typically for Wicked Vixen, especially lately, we've been finding some weird like inside joke that we've developed throughout the night, and then doing like whatever that inside joke thing is on 3. So we'll like gather around and then do that, and then this on 3, and I don't know. It kind of like helps us all shake off that last minute, I guess kind of jitters right before you go up on stage.
Yeah.
So usually we're just like palling around and shaking that off in the green room, but not too much of an actual ritual. I would say I do have some things that I cling to, like vocally, what I like to do. So I have like a vocal mist that I'll use, to make sure that my vocal folds are nice and hydrated. Of course, drinking lots of water, drinking tea, things like that.
Eucalyptus or something in there?
So it's like a blend of Chinese herbs, and you can get it on Amazon. I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, so I'm not gonna make myself look foolish by trying that. But it's something that the guys at the Blasting Room, the recording studio up in Fort Collins, turned me on to. Yeah, so they have all of those super heavy, punk guys that are coming through with like the gritty vocals, and that's how they keep their like their throat kind of like relaxed. Genius. And as they're going through really, really long days of singing for a long time. So that's part of my, I guess, routine of getting ready, is making sure I have that too.
Yeah. That's key. Fantastic. Speaking of the Blasting Room, did y'all record there or mix or master some stuff there?
Yeah, we've been recording there
That's
with
great.
Colton Crone for years now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I actually connected with him as he was starting his internship there. We recorded the first album that we ever put out together before we rebranded to Wicked Vixen. We recorded it in Kyle, our guitarist's house, and then sent it to Colton to have him mix and master it. After doing that, after having that experience, we were like, we're never doing this ourselves again, if we can help it.
I will say your stuff out online and out on the social sites and Spotify, what have you, it sounds great. It sounds like whoever you had mix it and master it did a wonderful job, and that makes a lot of sense now. We've used the Blasting Room as well. Love them over there. So shout out to the Blasting Room in FOCO. Let's give it up.
I'm going to hit him with a little...
The air horn.
Clap happy.
They didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So if you ever experience burnout, what do you do to keep, I guess, your creativity flowing?
Oh, that's a great question. I've experienced burnout several times in my career, and most notably, there was one time where Wicked Vixen stopped playing for an entire year. I made a whole announcement about it, and I just got really exhausted with some of the expectations, I think, that I was putting around it, but also that society or maybe social media puts around it about the amount of output that you have to have for something like that. And I just felt like I was trying to, beg people to come to shows and, hey, please listen to our music. It didn't feel really authentic anymore. And I think I fell into, again, the expectations of others. So on a regular basis, if I start feeling overwhelmed, I'll step back from what it is that I'm doing. And primarily a lot of that is social media, because I think it can be a really, really wonderful tool. And I do love it for our ability to connect far and wide with so many more people. But there's also, that downside that can really affect your mental health. And as a creator, you feel pressured to just put out as much as you possibly can. And if the passion and authenticity is not there behind it, if it doesn't really align with you, it's incredibly draining. So I'll take, some time off to give myself permission to not be creative. So that way I can then create from a more balanced, grounded, and authentic place in the future. Yeah.
Like a social media cleanse and then kind of a rest up, give yourself a little vacation type things. Like, how can you just
that
keep
advice?
going?
And also like balancing how much you're consuming with how much you're creating. Because oftentimes you start to feel overwhelmed when you're consuming what everybody else is telling you to do, or consuming all these artists that, you perceive as doing so much better than you by all of these numbers, right? The likes, the comments, the shares. Well, I'm not doing that. Well, how do I stack up against that? Well, I should have put this thing out. Well, I should be promoting that. Well, they're doing 10x the time or 10x the amount of content that I am, right? So like all of these different things signaling to you from all different directions. So, going from consuming so much then over to creating helps me get back in that flow, because then it's more authentically me instead of trying to listen to what everybody else is doing. I can better tune in to my voice and what it is that I actually want to be doing. If I only want to post 3 or 4 times a week, if I want to post 1 time a week, if I want to take some time off, I can do that. And the audience will be there when you decide to post again. So it's all about how you want to approach that strategy, I think.
It sounds like you've gained like a lot of awareness of what is an outside influence versus what's coming from you. And I just want to shout out for that, because that's really difficult to do, I think.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need a hard reset and you need to shut it down, put it in neutral, just like reset things, and then get back to yourself so that you can find that place where you can be creative and you do trust your work and you're not having to compete and compare with everybody. You're just like, I know so-and-so's doing this over here, but I'm doing this and I'm not them, I'm myself. So let's just keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
I mean, you're incredible. I have to give it up to you. So I think that about you.
Thank you.
I also think that about you. So I'm just sitting here being quiet, like, well.
Well, I want to know, can you shine a light on your new music video for In Cold Blood? Give us some insight on how you created it, came up with the song, and who shot it and where it was shot.
Yeah, so that one was interesting as far as song concepts go, because it started in my head as a video idea before it was a song. And I heard this quote somewhere. Somebody was talking about, being triggered by others and kind of putting that trigger on somebody else. And then the reframe of that was, wouldn't it be so much more powerful if instead of, letting that happen, if you just, and watching the gun go off because you're reacting instead of responding, if you just took the bullets out of the gun, which then takes all of that, like pent up energy out of that feeling of I guess letting somebody else have control over that emotion within you, whatever that emotion is, whatever the trigger is. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
No.
But I was so inspired by that I wanted to write a song about it. And I thought about, family history and family trauma, and how sometimes they can be the biggest pusher of buttons for us. And how much I felt like I had, needed to respond, or was, I guess, out of needing to respond to something and give my perspective and say, well, no, that's not how I feel. Well, like this is me. Why can't you just see like this is me? And like, why can't you accept this? I think I was pushing forward too much through, I guess through being triggered and keeping those bullets in the gun, so to speak, and letting that be the justification for why I was frustrated and kind of like going off and like holding on to these things, right? I think the bullets are like the emotional charge pieces that you could load the gun with, right?
Yes.
To go deeper in the metaphor. So I brought that idea to Colton at the blasting room, and this was the first time that we actually started songwriting together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so typically I would write the songs primarily. There's some collaboration that I've had with the guys, of course, over the years. But then I would take those songs to the guys, and then we would arrange it together. I'd say, like, here's the core of the song, here's the structure, and then they'd bring their expertise to it and help me make it into a full song. Well, with me moving back to Nashville and also just wanting to take my music to the next level, and he has such a good ear for a good song, for the production of it, and also through working together, we really we just work really well together in terms of the flow, and he knows what my voice is capable of, and he can kind of blend that into also what makes a good song. We ended up writing that song together, and so a lot of the lyrics are based around that idea of like not being held to expectations or to what maybe like family or society or friends or anything, what anybody puts on you, and being able to not be triggered by it by taking the explosive part out of the equation, right? The bullets out of the gun, and put it down and walk away and say, I will not repeat this. I will not let this continue. Yeah. This won't be my life. And the pattern stops here. It stops with me.
I love that. I had no idea that that's what that song's about, but now I love it even more.
Again, raised awareness of outside influences. Shout out again. I love the theme.
Yeah. Where can we see this video? Is it on YouTube? Is it?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. And I have to give a shout out to the person who shot it for us, Kayla, who goes by Kayla Shoots 666 on Instagram.
Okay, Kayla Shoots 666 on Instagram. Check her out. She shot this video. This video is called In Cold Blood, and it's by Wicked Vixen, and it's out on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm just going to switch it up a little bit here. Can you tell me one of the most chaotic moments, I guess, you've had during a show? Or what would you say, a fun story from a live show? Something spicy that happened. Yeah.
Give us the deets. Spill the tea.
Spill the beans.
So, well, I guess it's kind of hard with Wicked Vixen because everybody in that band is so chill, you know? They're so incredibly chill. And that's something that, you know, a lot of promoters or sound engineers are like, oh, thanks for just being so flexible. And we're like, you know, there's no room for divas or anybody, you know, any energy like that. We'll just roll with the punches. And I used to be really nervous about all that, thinking that anything that went wrong in a show was kind of my responsibility to help manage, like, oh, like this can't look bad on our reputation. But so much of it is just something that happens, right? Like your audio gear doesn't work, or maybe you have a bad cable, or, you know, like you pop a string, like, and it just happens, you know?
Maybe the SD card
Your computer doesn't work.
Yeah.
Things happen. You're right.
Yeah.
It's out of your control.
Yeah. So we stay really flexible. But outside of that, just in my entire professional career, before I started playing with Sugar Britches, I was playing with another country band in Colorado. And I drove about an hour to Denver. So this is before I moved. So I was in Fort Collins, drove an hour to Denver. And I was playing a little bit of guitar for them as well and doing backup vocals. And I got to the gig and realized that I brought my entire violin case with no violin in it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So on the fly, do we have a song?
Yeah,
oh,
that
trombone.
one, I think.
Oh, wait.
Whoops. Oh, all right, there it is. Yeah. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Perfect. Yeah. So I had to learn on the spot a bunch of songs on guitar, like the chords and everything. And
goodness.
I'm not a guitarist, first and foremost. It's not my main instrument. And so a lot of the voicings or like the barred chords, I'd be like, well, I don't know that shape, right? You know, like just on the fly. So I had to transpose and, you know, capo things up and figure it out. and then play an entire set for like 3 hours on guitar only, when only maybe like a total of 30 minutes of that entire time prior was guitar only. So that's probably the most chaotic thing that I've done, is have to like just figure it out.
That's so impressive. But you did it. The
I
show
did it,
must
kinda.
go on. Yeah.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
That's intense. A 3-hour set is already intense. And then a 3-hour set that you're like, I just need to transpose everything real quick on this guitar.
Yeah.
Gonna play another instrument real quick.
Yeah. It
Wow,
was- it
good
was
for you
interesting.
for doing that. That's impressive. I'm impressed.
Something else impressive that you mentioned before you came here. Just had a show yesterday in another state. You know that? Yeah,
No.
in Wyoming. Yeah.
You were in Wyoming? Were you with Sugar
Yeah.
Britches?
Yeah.
Okay, where were you playing there?
I'm gonna get the name wrong, I'm sure, because it's confusing for me. But it's the casino that's up in Cheyenne.
Oh, yes.
What is it? Horse.
I know
Swan
about this
horse.
place.
Who's a horse ranch? Swan Palace.
I Googled that place. I'm like, this looks amazing. It's a newer casino there,
Mhm.
and they do live performances.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Okay, so
Yeah.
you guys were there playing there last night?
Yeah.
Oh, was it
Another-
fun?
It was pretty fun. There was definitely more people this time than there were last time I was there in January with them. But speaking of chaotic moments, last night was definitely one of those.
no.
We have to set up our own sound system, and
Uh-huh.
which is fine because we usually bring all of our own sound gear. But in doing that, it cleared all of our something happened between their sound system and ours, and I don't know what happened. But it cleared all of our EQ that we had on all of our individual instruments. It totally messed up like the gain, the levels, everything was wiped
No.
almost to like 0. And so I
is
had
a
to
nightmare.
so I spent like an hour trying to figure out how to re-EQ all of us while Brian was playing, and then they did a sound check, and then I went out, into the audience to see how it sounded. I couldn't get my violin to like come through enough. It was sounding super shrill. Some of our EQ was swapped with other band members' EQ. I was like, I don't know. That was very chaotic. But
It's awful. I'm sorry that happened. I'm
Nightmare.
sure that was like a panic attackville when that happens, because that's like you are your sound. At the end of the day, you want that sound to sound as good as it can when you're playing live. And if
Yeah.
your EQ just went kaput, that's scary.
yeah,
I guess this is where having really chill bandmates
Yeah.
will really come in handy to be able to stay calm in a chaotic situation like that. It seems like you had to face a lot of different things, but you just find a way to do it and
Yeah.
make it work. And I don't know. Kudos to you again.
Good job,
Yeah.
air horn.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about your live performance of A Good Lord Woman. And I want to know also what this song is about and where that video was shot and who shot that.
Yeah, so we recorded that at the Aggie, our first time as Wicked Vixen playing the Aggie.
Nice.
We were stoked about that. We did that for Unleashed Fest,
Okay.
which was just such a fun night. Dead Pioneers headlined the night, and I Am the Owl was playing as well as Plasma Canvas. So just like incredible
Good
players.
bands.
Yeah, really, really stacked show. And so that was our second song of the night. And we had Witch Doctor Media, Sully and his team came out and filmed the whole thing. They're absolutely incredible. If any bands out there ever have the opportunity to work with Witch Doctor Media, do it. Very professional, very on top of everything. They did the audio and the video, mixing, recording, and all of that.
Okay.
Just an absolute dream team to work with.
Which Dr. Media? Is this out of Fort Collins?
I'm not sure if they're based in Fort Collins or Denver, but they're in the northern Colorado area.
Nice.
And I think they travel. I don't know how far, like what that radius is, but I think that they'll kind of come to you. So
That's good to
Greeley,
know.
Denver shows, Fort Collins, all that. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Awesome. And then what is that song about?
So that song is actually about a little bit of a bisexual awakening, although I was already firmly in that camp at the time.
Okay.
But there was this kind of friend of mine that I started developing a crush on.
Okay.
And it was one of those things that I hadn't fully experienced before, where I I guess like growing up in the South, right? I'll give this little backstory. Growing up in the South, I wasn't really quote unquote allowed, I'll say, to explore that, right? That full expression.
Absolutely.
So coming out here was a huge awakening for me and allowed me to really lean into who I was in that way. And so one of the ways that I process things is by exploring it through song, right? So I ended up developing a crush for somebody that was a friend of mine out here. And it was one of those feelings that I'd never really experienced before. Like I'd thought about it and knew that I had this attraction, and I had kind of like explored this a little bit, but this person really had a hold on me, and that was the first time that I think a woman had done that to me. And I was just like, oh God, like, goddamn, like, good Lord, woman, like, and so that's kind of what that was written about. And, there's a line in there that goes, I've never let someone else have this kind of control. And I'm so much one of those people that for most of my life needs to have like routines and feel like certain things are within my control. And I'm becoming friends with the chaos, right? I'm learning how to befriend the chaos and the unknown more. Yeah. But that was one of those moments where I kind of realized that I really hadn't let myself just be like, you could ruin my life. It'd be fine, like you could wreck me. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for sharing that, giving us the goods on that. I love that.
I want to know, what are you listening to on repeat right now?
Oh wow! So it spans a lot of different genres. It's hard to pick out just one. In my favorites list right now, there's some Irish tunes. Ooh. So like in traditional Gaeilge or like the Irish language.
Oh.
Are you Irish?
Yeah, so some of my heritage, is Irish.
Let's go.
Roots, like way, way back. And then some show tunes. So Lizzie McAlpine did, oh goodness, I can't remember the name of the play, but she was on Broadway recently. Okay. And I was just blown away by that. So one of her songs that she did is called Through the Mountain in this play, and I've just been obsessed with it ever since. I love her. She's great.
I need to check that out. I was obsessed with Lizzie McAlpine for a while. I need to circle back and listen to her again. Check that out for sure.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the lighter side of things, I've been listening to that. And then on the heavier side, I recently discovered a band called Cat's Claw. Went to a show for Talons in Denver, a newer metal band in the scene, and saw this band Cat's Claw at the Bluebird. And they're from Nebraska, I believe.
Yes.
One of my other favorite artists, Ethel Cain, is from Nebraska as well.
Nice.
And at first I was like, Nebraska, like, what? This doesn't make
there?
sense.
What's
and then
Nebraska?
Apparently something good's going on out there with some good bands.
Yeah, they're cooking.
Yeah, they are.
And but then I heard them and I was like, oh, I get it. Like it's that. I don't know. There's just something about like Nebraska. There's this like Nebraska essence. Yes. They are so good and so heavy. So if you need something to get some of the rage out to, like definitely go look up Cat's Claw because they're incredible.
Claw. Yeah. Check them out. Are there any things that you are working on that you're really excited about, whether it's in life or, music, just anything in general that you would like to share?
Yeah. So Wicked Vixen is writing new music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah. And we've already written a couple new songs. I was writing with Colton in the studio. We've got a couple other days that are planned in May to wrap some of that up. And we'll bring the band in as well to have us like all song write together, which will be really fun. And I think we're actually going to be premiering one of those songs. It's not released and it's not like ready to be released yet, but we want to play one of the new songs for our fans at Foco MX.
Yes, that's fantastic. Yeah. Awesome. Give me that. Let's go. Nice. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
We always ask at the end of the podcast what charity of choice you would like to give a shout out to.
Yeah, I would love to give a shout out to Women's Foundation of Colorado. It was really, when you guys asked me that question, it was really important that I was speaking about a foundation that supported women, women's rights, women's autonomy, especially since we're just coming out of Women's History Month.
Yeah.
And that, it's an organization that is local, because as much as some of these larger organizations are doing really great things, I think that supporting the local community, supporting the grassroots efforts, like right where you are, is so important for continuing good conversations within the community and supporting the people around you.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. And then thank you so much for taking the time to be on our podcast today. I'm Jenn Tatro. This is Brooke
Holman,
your host, and you've been tuning into Women in Music, Hot Pot Poddie Podcast. We're out.
Bye.
Bye. Our guest today was Z from the Colorado bands Wicked Vixen and Sugar Britches.